Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Rackham graduate exercises. My name is Tom Braun. I'm a professor of biostatistics at the School of Public Health and the outgoing chair of the Faculty Senate. On behalf of the over 7,000 members of the University Senate, I congratulate each and every one of you graduating today. At this time, we ask that you all rise, if you are able, for the singing of our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, oh so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good morning. I'm Lori McCauley, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome you to the 2024 graduate exercises at the University of Michigan. Let us thank Robert Wesley Mason for his moving rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. As we begin, I want to recognize an important part of our history, a land transfer from the indigenous people of this area. The University of Michigan is located on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe people. In 1817, the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations made the largest single land transfer to the University of Michigan. This was offered ceremonially through the treaty at the foot of the rapids so that their children could be educated. Through these words of acknowledgement, their contemporary and ancestral ties to the land and their contributions to the university are renewed and reaffirmed. Graduates, I am so pleased to welcome you to the Rackham graduate exercises. This is a day of celebration and reflection. Through years of dedicated study, you've earned the right to pass across that most cherished academic threshold, from student to credentialed professional. It is my hope that this day will stay forever etched in your memory as one of triumph, and for many of you, perhaps relief. Do you remember looking at this day years ago? When you enter grad school, your degree is like the summit of a distant mountain. You know the name of the mountain. You know what the journey looks like on a map, but the peak is cloaked in haze. Today, you've finally earned the right to enjoy the view from the summit of your achievements. Congratulations, graduates. Sharing in your triumph are many dear to you, friends, family, and faculty mentors who've made this day possible. To all of you who have offered your support, encouragement, and love during these graduates' journeys, thank you. Graduates, today we celebrate not only your scholarly achievements, but also your remarkable resilience and intellectual courage. Throughout your journey, you've navigated the labyrinth of complex theories and processes that once seemed impassable and charted your path with emerging data. You've sifted through layers of information to unearth underlying truths, often finding that the missing piece was simply you needed more sleep or more coffee. Indeed, the deeper you dove into your studies, the more you might have found yourself pondering the broader implications and even questioning the very foundations of your chosen field. Yet here you stand, united with peers who have weathered similar storms of doubt and discovery. Together, you forge paths through the academic wilderness, arriving at conclusions and in some cases, revealed more tracts of wilderness. And you have earned, I hope, some valuable provisions for the journey ahead. First, you have earned a lifetime of curiosity about your chosen discipline. You arrived with intrigue and some knowledge, but now that you are an emerging expert, you realize just how much more there is to know. This curiosity will fuel you and give you meaning, even as you use your expertise to better the lives of those around you. Second, you have embraced the lessons of intellectual humility. You have encountered the brilliant, the misguided, and the misunderstood, and perhaps inhabited all of those roles yourself at different points in your studies. You have learned to question and to trust your instincts. Third, you've learned about the responsibility that comes along with advanced learning. You have transformed from somebody who wants to make a difference into somebody who has the tools to make a difference. And finally, you have earned your degree, your passport to a life of ideas. You have opened passage to a life story full of art, medicine, law, science, and business. Whether your destination is the boardroom or the classroom, a local clinic, or a distant savanna, you have the essential supplies you earned in your time here. We hope you cherish every moment, beginning with this ceremony today. Congratulations, graduates. It is now my pleasure to introduce our first student speaker, Maryel Ok. Maryel studies the human microbiome, the bacteria, fungi, viruses, and genes that live in and around the human body. A doctoral candidate in chemistry, her research focuses on oral diseases. She has pioneered methods for classifying changes in the mouth during disease progression, and just recently identified an oral bacterium that enhances cancer, a critical finding and part of her groundbreaking research to develop new diagnostic tools. Maryel, please come forward. We are eager to hear your remarks.
Good morning, everyone. It's a graduation. Good morning, everyone. That's great. I am so excited. Thank you so much, Provost McCauley, for your kind introduction. I am thrilled to stand before you today, and as I pondered on what message I wanted to share, I found myself reflecting on the vast tapestry of experiences and challenges that we have faced as graduate students at the University of Michigan. In a world that seems increasingly complex because of the cacophony that has become the daunting task, despite the Earth's physical size remaining constant, our perceived world has dramatically expanded over the course of our 6-year journey, with the expanses of social media, TikTok, Instagram, and even now with the pandemic, a period of time where the entire globe seemed to come to a halt, which would have seemed to offer a rare moment of a universal pause. We seemed even more distant than ever. One might have expected that this shared experience, amplified by the ambiguity of social media, might bring us closer. But I often think about the solutions that could truly fix the world today. And I find myself asking, if you could change one thing in the world, what would it be? And of course I have so many options to choose, right? I could be eradicating world hunger, establishing world peace, but for whatever reason, my heart seems to settle on hoping to establish a foundational longing of compassion. It strikes me that the essence of compassion, truly seeing and feeling life from another perspective, has been overshadowed by the technologies that have promised to connect us. In a world craving genuine connection, reinstating compassion as a guiding principle is more crucial than ever. As we reflect on our journey, it's crucial to acknowledge the invaluable nature of our acquired knowledge and experience. However, amidst the wisdom, there is a profound truth. It's not merely what we have learned or achieved that has defined us, but it's how we've engaged and uplifted those around us. Every shout at a football game, every friendly go blue that you hear at the airports, these are the moments that reinforce our shared bonds and embody the spirit of the Michigan community. This insight brings us to the essence of compassion. In a world brimming in information and connectivity, it is the quality of our interactions and the warmth of our empathy that carve the deepest memories in the hearts of those we touch. And now, because of Michigan, we are all connected through our memories and through our experiences and through our love of being Michigan Wolverines. Therefore, if it is only one thing that you take from today, amid the pomp and circumstances, let it be this simple yet powerful reminder. While the facts that we learn and the achievements that we accumulate are significant, the legacy we leave behind is ultimately crafted by the feelings that we invoke in others. How we make people feel through our words, our actions, and our gestures of kindness becomes indelibly a mark on the world and our most enduring legacy. While this charge toward compassion may seem daunting, I am confident in your abilities. The University of Michigan has prepared us well. And I hope you all know that you always have a friend in me. Let us carry the spirit of this great university with us, always striving, always daring to contribute more. And with that, congratulations, graduates. Let us go forth and make our mark on the world. And now, I am pleased to introduce to you the 15th president of the University of Michigan, Santa J. Ono.
Good morning, everyone. Let's give Maryel another round of applause. Thank you so much, Maryel, for those thoughtful and inspiring words on the importance of compassion and empathy. Congratulations to all of you for what you've accomplished. As you sit here celebrating this moment, you're not just closing a chapter, you're on the cusp of a new and exciting one. You have achieved something truly incredible in each of your degrees, a testimony to your years of tireless work, resilience, and commitment. You're graduating from the University of Michigan, an institution revered for its academic rigor, its excellence, and its impact. This is a fantastic feat, and I hope that when you look back at your time at the University of Michigan, you remember it as a period of profound professional and personal growth, intellectual growth that connected you as individuals, friends, mentors, and others who have enriched your lives in untold ways. It is essential to recognize those of you here today who aren't wearing gowns, our families, partners, friends, children who have played a pivotal role in the success that you enjoy today. Please turn to them and give them a round of applause. The lessons that you've learned, the relationships that you've nurtured, and the experiences you've embraced have set the stage for your future endeavors. As we navigate through an increasingly complex world, the expertise that you have earned here will be more important than ever. Graduates, congratulations from each and every one of us on this stage and the Board of Regents on your momentous day. As you leave this place, take with you the title of Leaders and Best and wear it with pride. I invite Michael Solomon, Dean of the Horace H. Rackham School of Graduate Studies and Vice Provost for Academic Affairs of the Graduate School, to join me on stage as we proceed to the official conferral of degrees on you, the moment you have earned. Later in the program, we will invite today's graduates to come forward and be greeted. Dean Solomon.
Good morning. Thank you, President Ono. Mr. President, I have the honor on behalf of the faculties of the university and the executive board of the Horace H. Rackham School of Graduate Studies to present the recipients of doctoral degrees awarded by the university. Will the candidates for the doctoral degrees of the Horace H. Rackham School of Graduate Studies please rise if you are able and remain standing as your degrees are named. Doctor of Musical Arts, Doctor of Philosophy. Mr. President, I have the honor on behalf of the Executive Board of the Rackham Graduate School to present these candidates and to recommend them to you for the degrees named.
By the authority of the state of Michigan, vested in me by the regents of this university, and by them delegated to me, we shall now confer the doctoral degrees which have been recommended by the faculties. I confer upon each of you the degree for which you have been nominated, admitting you to its rights, honors, and privileges, and charging you with its responsibilities. Congratulations on behalf of the entire university for your accomplishments.
Doctoral graduates, please be seated.
Dean Solomon.
Next, we recognize the candidates to you for the various master's and certificate degrees to recommend them for the degrees named. Will the candidates for the degrees, as they are named, please rise if you are able and rename standing as all the degrees are named. First, Master of Arts, Master of Design, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Landscape Architecture, Master of Public Administration, Master of Public Policy, Master of Science, Master of Science in Engineering, Master of Urban and Regional Planning, and Certificate of Graduate Studies. Mr. President, I have the honor on behalf of the faculties and the executive board of the Rackham School to present these candidates for the degrees named.
By the authority of the state of Michigan, vested in the regents of this university, and then delegated to me, we now confer the master's degrees which have been recommended by the faculties. I confer upon each of you the degree for which you have been nominated, admitting you to its rights, honors, and privileges, and charging you with its responsibilities. Congratulations. Let's hear for them once again.
Graduates, please be seated. And now, I am pleased to introduce Robin Gavin. Robin Gavin is a senior critic at large for the Washington Post, where she writes about politics, race, and the arts, and previously covered the fashion industry. She is the winner of the 2006 Pulitzer Prize for Criticism and the author of The Battle for Versailles, the night American fashion stumbled into the spotlight and made history. The Pulitzer Prize Board praised her witty, closely observed essays that transform fashion criticism into cultural criticism. Gavin was born and raised in Detroit. She attended Princeton University, graduated in 1986 with a bachelor's degree in English. She received a master's in journalism from the University of Michigan in 1988. Tomorrow, the university will present Gavin with the honorary degree Doctor of Law at ceremonies at Michigan Stadium. Today, we are honored to welcome her. Robin, I invite you to address our graduates.
Hi, and congratulations. To paraphrase Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, you've gone all the way. And a special shout out to my master's folks. You are my people. Only about 14% of adults have an advanced degree. Statistically, you'll earn more money than the average American, and if you have children, they will earn more money simply because you did. You are rarefied people, and you will likely live among other rarefied folks in an urban setting or in one of those close-in suburbs of abundant green spaces with a walkable central business district that's referred to as a village. You will vacation and summer. Turning nouns into verbs will be a sign of your well-earned success. I encourage you to really enjoy your life. Don't let work consume you. Remember to seek out happiness and not just money. Allow yourself time to breathe so that stress doesn't metastasize as insensitivity, anger, or the cruelty of not seeing those around you who are struggling. You are all privileged. And saying that takes nothing away from the obstacles you've had to overcome or the hardships you've endured. You're privileged with knowledge and possibilities. And I encourage you to share your expertise with an open heart and an open mind. Listen as much as you opine. Ask questions as often as you provide answers. When I was a graduate student here, as you heard, I studied journalism. And it's an endeavor that gives introverts a vehicle for indulging their curiosity and stepping out of their shell. It also gives you the gift of being able to stand, if only for a short while, in someone else's shoes. Sometimes those shoes have been quite glamorous. They're stilettos walking up the steps to the Metropolitan Museum of Art and into the Met Gala. Sometimes those shoes are powerful. They're the sensible sneakers worn by a first lady as she touts the importance of healthy food in neighborhoods without full-service grocery stores. And sometimes those shoes are worn down and ragged from roaming from one end of Manhattan to the other in search of information about a loved one who was in the World Trade Center on 9/11. The thing I've realized is that in every case, the person in those situations is only human, no matter how rich or famous or powerful. They are hopeful and they are flawed and they're imperfect. And I ask you to please remember that. Hold yourself to high standards, but don't demand perfection because you'll only sow frustration. And give others who don't look like you or think like you or agree with you the grace to be imperfect as well. Make facts even inconvenient ones, your guiding principles, and make compassion your guardrails. If your faith brings you solace, embrace it, but don't use it as a bat or a cudgel. Don't presume to be omniscient or omnipotent. Be the Good Samaritan. We spend so much time fighting over who's right when we should often ask ourselves whether we are wrong. Be the bigger person, even when someone else is trying to make you feel small. And as you tick off all your rights, remember that they come with responsibilities because you are not alone in this world. I think about kindness a lot these days. It seems like it's really a quaint notion, and it's something that should be easy to come by, but I'm often shocked at how often it seems that our instinct now is to lead with anger and vitriol. And I'm not just talking about on the big issues, elections and policy decisions, but the little things too. We are a country of angry motorists, parents, parishioners, and neighbors. If any one of you can invent a kindness potion that can be infused into the water system, God bless you. But in the meantime, I beg of you, take all of your intellect and ambition and move forward in a way that makes us feel better about ourselves and not worse. We talk a lot about this idea of a public square, and Twitter, now X, was supposed to be the virtual version of that, and so is Facebook. But mostly those places have turned into stages where we unleash the absolute worst versions of ourselves. There was a time when an angry reader might send me an email and tell me exactly what they thought I could do with myself. And back in that quaint time, if I responded politely and calmly, the person would almost certainly email me back a little bit sheepishly. And they'd explain that they thought the email was just kind of going into a black hole and no one was actually going to read it. But once they realized an actual human had seen their message, they sort of stood a little straighter and came back with, if not an apology, at least a more thoughtful explanation of their gripe. But not today. Today, a polite response is often met with more anger for an unwillingness to engage in a verbal wrestling match. I'm really not sure why we all seem so eager to punch each other in the face. But we're all in this together. Otherwise, this will disintegrate, and we need to remember that. As you heard, I grew up in Michigan, in Detroit, and I always loved writing. I wasn't sure how I might turn that passion into a career. So for a while, I thought about medicine. For a brief moment, I envisioned opening an art gallery. And then I applied to law school, as one did in the 1980s. And after a little bit of intellectual wandering, I decided to come to Michigan to study journalism. And so I'd like to talk about that for just a minute. Journalism is built on facts. Which ones come to light often depends on who's doing the digging and where they choose to look. And that's an enormous argument for encouraging people from as many different backgrounds as possible to enter the profession. There are so many stories that need to be told, and we need people digging and poking around everywhere, not just in the usual familiar places. Journalism is both a light and an amplifier for stories that get lost in the shadows or are muffled into near silence. It's a way of getting people to look more closely at issues and problems, to see them from a new angle, or to simply look at the same old thought lines for perhaps the fourth or fifth or umpteenth time, because we still haven't found ourselves seeing the problem clearly enough to make our way towards a solution. Not all journalism is investigative. It's not all about bureaucrats and cops and billionaires, although those are hugely important characters in the journalistic mission to hold the powerful accountable and to keep democracies whole. Sometimes the most evocative and illuminating stories are about average citizens who've done something extraordinary or whose modest gesture created a powerful ripple effect. Great journalism can also delight and entertain, can make us feel more human and more connected across geography and demographics. Journalism is also a part of the social pact. And I'm not talking about citizen journalists. I'm obviously biased on this point, but I don't think that's really an accurate moniker. I might want to hear about the interesting research that a friend did on gingivitis, but I'm not going to call that friend a citizen dentist and ask her to perform a root canal. So in the same way that dedicated, flawed, and earnest journalists aim to keep watch over the functioning of our democracy, you educated, thoughtful, and dedicated citizens who are well on your way to lives of privilege and possibility have a special role as well. You will have access to the levers of power, institutional, financial, social, and artistic. Use that to build bridges to help others reach their full capacity. Use it to construct safety nets to catch strivers when they have a misstep and fall. Use it to hold those in public service to the highest standards. Allow them to change their mind when the circumstances evolve, but do not let them lose sight of their moral compass. Use your allegiance to research, data, and analysis to keep those who are fearful and frustrated from succumbing to their emotions. And use your emotional intelligence to help write the country's next chapters with ambition, artistry, and grace. Once again, I want to congratulate you all. You are magnificent now. You will be even greater tomorrow. Our future is as beautiful as you decide to make it. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin, for those inspiring remarks. Next, I would like to welcome to the stage the Cirrus Quartet, composed of School of Music, Theater, and Dance students Roberto Campa, Samuel Duchamp, Kyle Cato, and Laura Ramsey. They'll perform Picanha Charda by Pedro Iturralde. Please enjoy. fortunate we are to have such talent on our campus. Thank you to the Cirrus Quartet for that lovely performance. I'm now delighted to introduce Haley Patel. Haley has dedicated her academic career to understanding the human body. Her Master's of Science in Molecular and Integrative Physiology builds on her 2 Michigan undergraduate degrees. For 3 years, she worked as a researcher in the Department of Orthopedic Surgery and contributed to advancements in regenerative medicine. She also offers vital support to babies suffering from opioid withdrawal as a birth doula at Michigan Medicine. Haley, we are eager to hear your remarks. Please come forward.
Thank you, Provost McCauley. Hello, graduates. My name is Haley Patel, and it is a very big privilege to be standing here before you today. As the first in my family to become a U.S. citizen and the first to graduate high school and college, this moment represents the dreams and sacrifices of generations who came before me. As a daughter of low-income, undocumented immigrants, life was very far from easy. My parents left everything they knew in search of a better life for their children. Their path forward has not been easy, fraught with danger and uncertainty. Yet, through the unimaginable hardships, they remained steadfast in their belief that education was the key to a brighter future. Their perseverance showed the true meaning of resilience and adaptability and instilled in me the belief that no dream is too big and no obstacle too unconquerable. But I share this story not just to highlight my own experiences, but to acknowledge the collective resilience of every individual in this room. We have faced our own trials and tribulations, and yet we've persisted, emerging stronger and more resilient than before. We've gained perspective, patience, and a deeper appreciation for the precious gift of life and education. As we contemplate our future paths, let us delve deeper into the essence of our aspirations. In Physiology 605, one of our assignments was to explore the concept of entering a profession and what it means to become a professional. This room is filled with aspiring doctors, research scientists, engineers, and more. And it's very common for us to be asked questions like, what are you going to do next? This question is especially true at Thanksgiving dinners. However, I believe the more important question is, who do you aspire to become? Entering my master's program, I proudly wore various labels: researcher, birth doula, and graduate student. When asked about my identity, I readily listed these roles. Yet upon reflection, I've come to understand that these are merely just titles. Instead of defining individuals by their professions, I've come to appreciate that their true essence lies in their character and attributes. Maya Angelou's words resonate deeply. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. For instance, rather than labeling my little sister as a pre-law student, I would first emphasize her qualities, her selflessness, supportiveness, and intelligence. It's about seeing individuals for who they are and not just their career. Class of 2024, some of us may have our next steps planned out, and that's commendable, but for those of us that are still uncertain, that's perfectly okay too. It just means that some of us do not have a definite answer to what are you going to do next. Right now, however, each of us have the opportunity to answer the bigger question, who do you aspire to be after you leave Michigan? With hearts full of hope and minds filled with possibility, let us become the individuals we aspire to be. So today, let's celebrate our achievements and remember that no dream is too big and no obstacle too unconquerable. Go Blue! And now I'm pleased to welcome back to the podium Michael Solomon, Dean of Horace H. Rackham School of Graduate Studies and Vice Provost for Academic Affairs Graduate Studies.
Thank you very much, Haley. It is my pleasure, on behalf of the Horace H. Rackham School of Graduate Studies, to offer brief remarks. Graduates, you have pursued your degrees for 2, 5, or perhaps slightly more years. At a time that I believe is a period of historic significance, spanning from the turmoil and aftermath of the pandemic to the critical global moment now affecting us all in different ways. Considering what to say today made me reflect on other such moments in our institution's history and other commencement events like this one. It turns out that the Bentley Historical Library has a wonderful compilation of commencement addresses dating back to 1878, and I spent some time looking through them. They reminded me of the joy of this occasion and of the many before you who have occupied these seats. These commencement addresses touch on the societal issues of their time. They refer to conflict and cultural change and the currents of history. They help us to understand important shifts in attitudes and norms across nearly a century and a half. And they also demonstrate some pretty striking changes in style and language. One commemorative oration ran to 28 tightly spaced pages, while another speaker worried that his remarks would be perceived as, and I quote, platitudinous flapdoodle. That was in 1920. Today, I promise only 3 pages of oration, but only time will tell if it is flapdoodle. In all the speeches I read through the years, though, 2 themes were clear. One is that speakers have called upon you as graduates to address challenges both timeless and emergent. The second is their universal recognition of the significance of your individual achievements. Indeed, commencement is a moment, in fact, the moment in which you are publicly recognized for what you have achieved. You are recognized by the faculty who are here today, who have advised and mentored you. Recognized by the friends and family who are here today, who have supported you. And recognized by your fellow students and peers with whom you have walked the same path. I think back to the failures and challenges I experienced, endured, and somehow overcame to join my fellow graduates and cross the stage as you soon will. My first peer-reviewed paper that was rejected. The debacle that was my first qualifying exam. The time that I nearly fried the circuit board on a $70,000 instrument by wiring it up wrong in front of my advisor. Having flashbacks. Taken slowly on its own rigors, graduate study is uniquely complex and demanding, as you know. I've heard from many of you of your own challenges, several much greater than mine. There was the coursework, the research, the teaching, the milestones, family care, and self-care, and many other things. Add to these the circumstances that you have faced in a precarious and unsettled world, and it is clear that the accomplishments that you have brought you here today are worthy of our admiration, our respect, and especially our applause. Like countless speakers who have addressed graduates on this stage, I'm afraid I can't follow that applause by assuring you that everything from here on out is going to be smooth sailing. However, I don't feel the need to reassure you because it's you who inspire me. By choosing to pursue an advanced degree at the University of Michigan, you have already shown that you are undaunted by the prospect of a difficult path. With the skills and insights you have attained, you are exceptionally prepared to make a difference and lead change. You can take confidence in your hard-earned expertise, your creativity, and the fluency and perspective that you bring to addressing even the most disconcerting problems. In my brief tour of UM history at the Bentley Historical Library, I saw that more than 130 years ago, as the university was just beginning to appreciate the potential and promise of those who achieve advanced degrees like yours, President James Angel remarked that encouraging graduate study was of the first importance, and that the degrees would have a real significance. Those are words that still ring true. It's impossible to say where your contributions of real significance will lie, in a performance, an exhibit at a museum, or at a field site, with a treatment or a marvel of engineering, whether by helping us combat climate change or navigating the sea change of artificial intelligence. But as you look back on all you've overcome to attain your degree today, I hope you will appreciate your strength and your value to a world in need. During the toughest moments in your time here, this day may once have seemed unimaginable. Please now go forward with the belief that you can do things that you have never imagined. Thank you, and congratulations, graduates. It is now my pleasure to recognize the great achievements of our graduates. We will recognize first those earning doctoral degrees and invite those students forward to be hooded and recognized. Yes. To describe what will happen, doctoral degrees are the highest awarded by the university. We're coming to the hooding of doctoral graduate recipients, recognizing each of them individually. The ritual of receiving the doctoral hood is part of a historical tradition that began with the earliest foundations of European universities. Hooding has been a central feature of commencement exercises since the 12th century. When popes, kings, or emperors authorized the conferral of the doctoral hood, they were certifying that the recipients were master teachers who had earned us ubique docenti, which means the right to teach anywhere. Each doctoral graduate has undertaken original scholarship in the completion of a dissertation, guided by a faculty member who chaired the student's dissertation committee. Many of these dissertation chairs are with us today and will personally hood their students, welcoming them into the community of scholars. The names of our graduates will be called as they are invited up to be draped with the hood, which completes their doctoral academic regalia. The colors on the hood identify first the university attended and second the academic field studied. The university's colors, maize and azure blue, can be seen on the lining of the hoods of the doctoral candidates that they wear today. The color on the hood velvet indicates the field of study, and the colors can be identified on the list of academic colors that are in your program. I invite you to notice the various disciplines represented as the degree recipients are introduced. You will receive a remarkable insight into the diversity and breadth of the intellectual and creative mission carried forth at the University of Michigan. We'll now begin the hooding.
Rita Avilar, doctoral program in molecular and cellular pathology. Andy Aguilar, doctoral program in history. Matthew Aguirre, doctoral program in industrial and operations engineering. Maria Ahmed, molecular, cellular, and developmental biology. James Akinola, chemical engineering. Daryl Allen, doctoral program in educational studies. Nicholas Arnold Medabalimi, aerospace engineering. Prachi Arvind Asmasidha, physics. Joseph Basala, molecular, cellular, and developmental biology. Andrew Bernard, doctoral program in anthropology. Leah Bernardo Sidio, doctoral program in classical art and archaeology. Lauren Bernacki, computer science and engineering. Laura Beester, computer science and engineering. Julia Biraku, mechanical engineering. Daniel Blakemore, earth and environmental sciences. Catherine Boniface, neuroscience. Elizabeth Bothoff, doctoral program in biomedical engineering. Haley Bowen, history. Emma Rose Brannon, chemical engineering. Layla Brown, English language and literature. Joseph Breeden, aerospace engineering. Anna Brzezowski, mathematics. Ellie Buchert, molecular, cellular, and developmental biology. Anna Calkins, chemistry. Cassidy Campbell, American culture. Jia Cao, bioinformatics. Sydney Carr, public policy and political science. Victor Rentes, health infrastructures and learning systems. Quan Yu Chen, electrical and computer engineering. Ji Yi Chen, mechanical engineering. Yashwant Kumar Cherivirala, electrical and computer engineering. Jeffrey Choi, industrial and operations engineering. Jake Chung, electrical and computer engineering. Aaron Sikonik, political science. Chloe Ann Clark, space sciences and engineering. Justin Tyler Kraft, linguistics. Allison Curley, earth and environmental science. Rena Dubajo, mechanical engineering. Rihan Dai, chemistry. Derek Dang, molecular, cellular, and pathology. Marty Davidson, political science. Matthew DeFurio, astronomy and astrophysics. Myra del Carmen, Psychology and Women's and Gender Studies. Devon Dennison, Doctoral Program in Cellular and Molecular Biology. Katerina DeLillo, Biomedical Engineering. Chanshu Dong, Mechanical Engineering. Sean Donovan, Film, Television, and Media. Ashley Esley, Educational Studies. Mohammed Al-Banani, Computer Science and Engineering. Salem Elsway, Doctoral Program in History. Christopher Robert Ambroto, Earth and Environmental Sciences. Nizar Aizurai, Doctoral Program in Physics. Chonshin Ban, Sciences and Engineering. Jinyu Fei, Industrial and Operations Engineering. Alexander Filio, Aerospace Engineering. Dylan Fitzgerald, Physics. Garrett Fogo, Neuroscience. Nina Frances Levin, Social Work and Anthropology. Bo Fu, Robotics. Shuin Fu, Robotics. Minji Gao, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Zhijian Gao, Bioinformatics. Megha Ghosh, Psychology. Robert Goldsmith, Pharmacology. Duncan Greeley, Material Science and Engineering. Weijin Gu, Bioinformatics. Steve Guzman, Molecular and Integrative Physiology. Fabian Hardy, Earth and Environmental Science. Jeremiah Houts, Mechanical Engineering. Wenjia Hu, Computer Science and Engineering. Lauren Hine, Cancer Biology. Kristen Hong Dorsey, Pharmaceutical Sciences. Ronthi Poti, Interdepartmental Doctoral Degree Individualized Program. Hao Huang, Applied Physics. Yenyu Shi, Mechanical Engineering. Yichao Huang, Material Science and Engineering. Shuo Huang, Electrical Engineering. Mahin Humayun, Epidemiological Science. Brian I. James, Doctoral Program in Choral Conducting. Sarah Ann Smith in Indino, Music Education. Hillary Isaac, Political Science. Safa Jabri, Mechanical Engineering. Nichelle Nicole Jackson, Pharmacology. Mimansa Jaishwal, Computer Science and Engineering. Ebony Johnson, Sociology. Iman Jabahari, Aerospace Engineering. Joshua Jones, Chemistry. Timothy Lee Jones, Political Science. Timothy Yorgovich, Chemistry. Brock Giuliano, Chemistry. Vishnav Kabasharwan, Information. Sarah Katz, Earth and Environmental Science. Emine Seda Kayim, Architecture. Ashkan Zemi, Computer Science and Engineering. Kamruzaman Khan, Material Science and Engineering. Taehyung Kim, Robotics. Adrian Kinnear, Medical Scientist Training Program. Jill Kinser, Pharmaceutical Sciences. Daniel Kneister, Mechanical Engineering. Carissa Knox, Environmental and Sustainability. Nipurama Kurada, biophysics. Kayla Croning, chemistry. Rebecca Krosnick, computer science and engineering. Molly Elizabeth Kuo, medical scientist training program. Yong Sok Kwon, mechanical engineering. Kumin Kwon, electrical and computer engineering. Brandon Lafleur, nuclear engineering and radiological sciences. Fan Lai, computer science and engineering. Seida Lemia, mechanical engineering. Matthew Lasky, chemistry. Saqib Usman, et al., anthropology. Jae Bok Lee, mechanical engineering. Jonathan Lee, chemical engineering. Abby Lino, clinical pharmacy, translational sciences. Ashley Lanehart, chemistry. Anita Lee, material science and engineering. Chenji Lee, pharmaceutical sciences. Lucinda Lee, environmental engineering. Sichi Lee, chemistry. Zhongyu Lee, electrical chemical engineering. Zun Lee, computer science and engineering. Connor Legaikis, civil engineering. Jiwon Lim, macromolecular science and engineering. Juwon Lim, material science and engineering. Wei Kwan Lin, electrical and computer engineering. Bowen Liu, electrical and computer engineering. Kai Wen Liu, aerospace engineering. Chan Liu, Romance Languages and Literature, Italian. Zhuoxiong Liu, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Leighton Lui, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Hao Chung Lo, Space Sciences, Climate Sciences, and Engineering. Jia Jing Ma, Computer Science and Engineering. Marco Mangano, Aerospace Engineering. Alexander Manohar, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering. Ha-Chen Mao, Molecular and Integrative Physiology. Ernesto Martinez Paz, Environmental Engineering. Estefania Martinez Valdivia, Chemical Biology. Hassan Al-Maruf, Computer Science and Engineering. Ava Mauser, Biomedical Engineering. Aaron McAuliffe, Sociology. Alexander McConnell, History. Andrew McGrath, Medicinal Chemistry. Nicholas Medina, Ecology and Evolution Biology. Matthew Mender, Biomedical Engineering. Martin Menz, Anthropology. Krista Meserve, Chemistry. Daniel Michael Alexander Myrand, Communication Studies. Matteo Milesi, Classical Studies. Ruby Mae Miller, Chemistry. Peter Dominic Vitrano, Robotics. Anjali Mittal, Chemical Engineering. Dorian Muller, Music Theory. Malavika Mukandan, Mathematics. Naveen Murthy, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Matea Mustafai, Communication Studies. Kevin Napier, Physics. Olawami Dosumo Ogunbi, Robotics. Emma Resnick, Robotics. Elizabeth Olson, Robotics. Grant Gibson, Robotics. Margaret Eva Wagare Mogay, Mechanical Engineering. Nicole Navarro, History. Emily Norwine, Chemistry. Trevor Odelberg, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Christopher Ulmer, Chemical Biology. Maryel Ok, chemistry. Stephen Andrew Olson, naval architecture and marine engineering. Megan Orr, chemistry. Erkan Otlis, medical scientist training program. Michael Reginald Pitter, molecular and cellular pathology. Matthew Julian Poon, medicinal scientist training program. Ezekiel Punzalan, chemistry. Zach Quirk, earth and environmental science. Ritika Rumesh, computer science and engineering. Taha Rauf, social work and political science. Juan David Remolina Gonzalez, astronomy and astrophysics. Ari Renda, romance languages and literature, Spanish. Juliana Ritchie, biomedical engineering. Benjamin Riley, mathematics. Kevin Rivera Cruz, chemistry. Jessica Roden, communication studies. John Carlos Rodriguez Diaz, neuroscience. Catherine Rower, choral conducting. Beck Roldan, chemistry. Bosun Roy Leyend, chemical engineering. Ryan Rutkowski, medicinal chemistry. Harishankar Sat Shivon, computer science and engineering. Peter Sajul Kulnukit, cancer biology. Brittany Merced Wotan Salazar. Marina Sarsanella, chemistry. Robert Saskowski, physics. Alyssa Schubert, environmental engineering. Patrick Schuler, industrial and operations engineering. Oscar Sirfus, nuclear engineering and radiological sciences. Sabet Siraj, aerospace engineering. Bilal Sharkey, aerospace engineering. Hua Yong Shin, political science. Megan Simmons, Ecology and Evolution Biology. Gurmeet Singh, Aerospace Engineering. Richard Smith II, Psychology. Emma Soberano, English Language and Literature. Yujing Song, Mechanical Engineering. Andrew Stevens, Mechanical Engineering. Richard Stewart, Molecular, Cellular, and Developmental Biology. Srihuri Sundar, Aerospace Engineering. Alexander Suntz, Civil Engineering. William Swanson, Oral Health Sciences. Kimberly Leanne Swisher, Anthropology. Kenyu Tan, Biophysics. Hongmei Tan, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Jin-Wen Tang, Industrial and Operations Engineering. Ellen Thompson, Environmental Engineering. Michael Thompson Brewster, Political Science. Elizabeth Tidwell, Biophysics. Kevin Toulan, Genetics and Genomics. Maxwell Franklin Toothman, Mechanical Engineering. Jessica Trombley, Molecular, Cellular, and Developmental Biology. Meng-Ju Tsai, Physics. Zuyun Tung, Linguistics. Juan Valentin Goico, Pharmacology. Loda Vandengoor, Molecular, Cellular, and Developmental Biology. Wanhua Wang, Biomedical Engineering. Hao Wang, Mechanical Engineering. Xuan Wang, Biophysics. Shuz Wang, Bioinformatics. William Waitrenos, Educational Studies. Emily Waring, Chemistry. Hong Hao Wei, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Chen An Wen, Applied Physics. Christine Weston, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Andrew Wilhelm, Nuclear Engineering and Radiological Sciences. Catherine Wilhelm, Chemistry. A.J. Wing, Ecology and Evolution Biology. Declan Winship, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Andrew Wintenberg, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Anna Maria Vosny, Sociology. Henry Wu, Chemistry. Man Ai Wu, Robotics. Dory Yang, Mechanical Engineering. Ye-Shin Young, Molecular, Cellular, and Developmental Biology. Ellen Yates, Biomedical Engineering. Iman Yekazare, Information. Shai Zamir, History. Het Teha Zoh, Political Science. Stephen Zekany, Computer Science and Engineering. Boya Zhang, Pharmacology. Ray John, Robotics. Nanjiang Zhao, Bioinformatics. Xintao Zhao, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Wanwei Zhou, Biology, Chemical Biology. Sara Zobel, Sociology. Jay Wen Zhou, Biomedical Engineering. Yves Nazon II, Mechanical Engineering. Ariba Javed, Materials Science. Henri Zhang, Bioinformatics. William Hurst, Business Administration and Political Science. Yifan Li, Industrial and Operations Engineering. Rishikesh Danawe, Mechanical Engineering. Mallory Fust, Applied Physics. Andrew Zach, Chemical Engineering. Musawar Ahmad Sakif, Civil and Environmental Engineering. Shuhan Liu, Clinical Pharmacy Translational Science. Kenneth Gill, Jazz and Contemporary Improvisation. Mi Zhou, Music Performance, Organ. Yun Zhang, Cancer Biology. Karan Desai, Computer Science and Engineering. Rishikesh Rao, Information. Nia Johnson, Ecology and Evolutionary Biology. Daniel Stoll, Mathematics. Caleb Tardillo, English Language and Literature. Gaoning Zhang, Carol, Information. Jia Chen Sun, Computer Science and Engineering. Kun Jin, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Rohit Rothe, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Jianwei Seng, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Michael Washington, Educational Studies, Mathematics Education. Alexa White, Ecology and Evolutionary Biology. Lirong Shi, Chemistry. Hiwat Tadese Kasa, Computer Science and Engineering. Zhongzhou Chen, Industrial and Operations Engineering. Okay.
Let's recognize our doctoral graduates one more time. It is now my great pleasure to recognize the achievements of our master's graduates. We invite master's degrees candidates to come forward and be greeted. Marshals will guide you. the graduates and candidates who have been presented today, please rise if you are able. Will the deans and officers, the faculty, and all others on the stage please rise if you are able. Will all the family members and invited guests who share in the recognition of these candidates presented today please rise if you are able. I now welcome our graduates to the community of scholars. We look forward to benefiting from the contributions your education has prepared you to make in our world. Congratulations. Please be seated, and it is now my pleasure to introduce Alumni Association of the University of Michigan Board Member Fritz Brown. Please welcome Fritz Brown.
Wow. Can I get a go blue? So, good afternoon. We might be right on the cusp, graduates, but on behalf of the Alumni Association, congratulations and welcome. We are delighted to count you as an official member of the alumni family. You are now part of a network of 672,000 plus alums in 180 countries around the world. The degrees you now hold will no doubt unlock opportunities and adventures that will take you to new places and bring you remarkable experiences. Yet no matter where you go, there is one place that you can call home, and that's the University of Michigan. As your new journey, unique journey begins, remember your new family has much to offer. The Alumni Association will help you stay connected with access to over 115 local clubs, athletic events, and career resources like webinars and coaches, and so much more. As a graduation gift, we are giving each of you a complimentary one-year membership to our organization so that you can access these amenities and benefits. Keep an eye on your inbox for a message on how to access it. But most of all, today, we offer congratulations and say, well done. You are indeed the leaders and best, and we await with great anticipation all the positive impact you will have to bring to the world. Go Blue. Please join us in singing the university's, am I supposed to say this or you? University of Michigan's alma mater, the yellow and blue.
The faculty have certain rights.
And please remember that we have a celebration out in Ingalls Mall after we're done singing, and the radar says rain by ending by 12:30. So please join us now in the singing of the yellow and the blue.